Welcome to the Equinety Podcast, where horse owners just like you share their incredible Equinety stories and how Equinety is changing their horses' lives. Whether you're searching for something to give your performance horse better focus, faster recovery, and more stamina, or in the extreme case where all hope seems lost, give your horse what it needs to help heal at a cellular level, you'll find it here. So jump in on today's episode to hear how Equinety is helping horses worldwide. Now, welcome your host, John Dowdy.
Hello and welcome to this week's Equinety Podcast. We are going to swing up into Ohio, and we've got Monica Kay on the podcast this week. Monica, welcome to the Equinety Podcast.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Oh, you bet. It's a pleasure. We're excited to have another guest on this week. And I first came across your posting. You actually had listed a review or posted a review on our Facebook page, and it simply said, "We've had great results with our mare on Equinety. Such a difference in her coat, hooves, and muscle tone. Highly recommended." Now, that was short and sweet, but the pictures you posted tell a completely different story. So, for example, and we're going to have this posted on our website below this podcast so you can see the before and after photos. And not only was the coat dull to shiny, but the hooves, I think, were the biggest difference. And although the before pictures were in wintertime, you could see that the hooves were ripply and kind of flared at the bottom. And the after pictures looks like in the spring and sunlight, but you can see a significant difference in the hooves. So let's go back and how did you find this horse? What was going on with it when you first found it? Let's just start there.
Okay. Well, we found this horse that was for sale. We really didn't have the intentions of buying a horse, didn't really need another horse. But when we seen the condition that the horse was in, underweight, its hooves hadn't seen a farrier in a year, it became a rescue mission where we knew that we had to get the horse out of that situation and start taking care of her. So we did end up buying the horse, and we noticed she had a little bit of speed on her and thought, well, maybe she could be my daughter's next speed horse or contester.
Right. And she's interested in barrels and poles and things of that nature?
Right. Correct.
Yeah. So when you got her home, obviously you had mentioned she was kind of a rescue mission at this point, but we would assume you probably vet checked and started putting the feed and nutrition to her. And what kind of changes were you seeing just by doing that?
I mean, she started just the feed. She started putting on some weight, but she still, her coat still kind of looked dull. We got the farrier out right away to trim her feet, and they still just, even being trimmed, they would grow funny. They had these ripples to them. They just did not look healthy.
Mm-hmm. And then someone mentioned a product called Equinety Horse XL. Tell us about that.
Mm-hmm. So a lady at one of the barns that I know, she has an older horse that was having some lameness, and she started him on Equinety and noticed, a difference that he wasn't as stiff. And she mentioned it, and then we had been talking to Danielle Bowser, and she mentioned that all their horses are on Equinety. So we thought, you know what, we're going to try it. People rave about it. So we just took the leap of faith and got some Equinety.
Awesome. And how long were you using the product before you started noticing changes?
Within a few weeks, I would say, to notice the changes, especially in her personality. Her muscle tone and her coat, health slowly came on too, but I would say within a few months, all of it came together and we noticed a huge difference. When we first got her, we would be saddling her and she would rear up and flip over, or trying to take her into a shoot at a show. She would rear up and just, she's a ball of energy in the first place, but it was a safety risk.
Sure. Now, you said that you noticed changes in a couple of weeks. Here's, I'll take a quick little pause here because those tuning in for the first time, maybe you're wondering what this Equinety product exactly is, or you've seen it around, but don't know exactly what it is and how can it do all these different things. Well, the Equinety Horse XL is 100% pure amino acids, which are the building blocks of protein, but the specific combination of aminos are formulated to stimulate the pituitary gland, which is the master gland in the body. And that's what releases the necessary hormones, which then help heal at a cellular level. So this product actually starts working in 24 hours. It's just a matter of what you can start to see. So in this case, you actually started seeing changes within a couple weeks. And, by within a few months, everything was really blooming and filling out. I would say the vast majority of people do notice changes in 30 days or less. In this case, it was a couple weeks. Now, how long did you have the horse and with the feeding program and all the care and everything prior to using the Equinety product?
I would say a few months, maybe 4 months or so. Okay. I think we got her in March, so we started in the summertime on Equinety.
Okay. Gotcha. So once you put the nutrition and doing all the care and maintenance that you would typically do, but then when you added the Equinety, everything just went into supercharge mode, really, is kind of what...
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and then going into the kind of the safety precautions where she'd rear up or go into the chute and watch out, which is a very dangerous thing. So you noticed once you added the Equinety that her whole attitude, demeanor changed. Tell us about that.
Right. So now she'll walk in the chute or into arena, none of the rearing. I mean, when she gets out there and sees the pattern, she gets ready to run. That's just her, she knows her job, but it's not dangerous. It's the horse getting ready to do what it knows what its job is. And with my daughter, that's a big thing of safety. I hate to watch her rear up and flip over. I'd be afraid that would ever happen with my daughter in the saddle.
Sure. And
now we don't have to worry about that. She prances in and is ready to go. No issues.
So what kind of times is she running barrels and poles?
Well, they actually made it to state this year in 4-H for barrels and poles. She, down at state, if she wouldn't have knocked a barrel, she ran a 17-second pattern on barrels, and she will hit 20-second pole patterns.
Wow.
On a good day.
Yeah. So in the barrels, she's running 2-3D depending on the... Yeah. That's incredible.
Right.
I mean, you take a horse, so 1 year on Equinety, and you take a horse that was in a very bad situation, skin and bones, hooves hadn't been touched in a year, and now running these kind of times, and that's impressive.
Right.
Now, I'll throw this out there too, because the Equinety product, I tell people all the time, is not a miracle supplement. It sure does some miraculous things. I mean, and that's one of the reasons why we have these podcasts, because the stories are just crazy. But it's so important that the owner is doing everything that they need to do on their side, which is what you were doing. And it's just when you add the Equinety product, it seems to fill in all those gaps that seem to be missing. So now, have you had, this is a bit of a leading question because you already told me this. So, hey, have you heard? So you had mentioned to me earlier that you've had some people say, oh, that Equinety, that's pretty expensive. But what do you tell them?
I always tell them, the number of servings that you get out of the container is worth it, especially when you see the results. For us, the results were amazing. And it's well worth it. I would pay double the price, honestly, for the results that we got. And, I just to test the results, I got a similar amino acid product and put our other horse on it, and I don't see the results like I do with Equinety and our barrel horse.
Yeah, now let's back that up a little bit, because now as far as price goes, it's $99.99 and you get 100 servings, so it's $1 a day per horse. There's no fillers, no sugars, no starches. There's no loading dose, and a serving size is 5.2 grams, which is not quite a tablespoon. And it doesn't matter if it's a tiny mini or a draft horse. they all get the same dose because we're targeting the pituitary gland, which is roughly the same size. So that'll fill in some gaps there as far as I think the people that say, oh, well, that's too expensive because it's $100. I think a lot of people assume it's only 30 days, but it's actually a little over 3 months. So for the person that told you that, oh, well, those are just amino acid, it wasn't that kind of the conversation?
Right. They said, you're just paying for amino acids. That's all it is. And so I tested the theory, like I said, and I got a product, tried it on our other horse, and the results aren't anything close to what we've seen with Equinety. Yeah,
and I think it's important for people, and we try to do our best from the educational standpoint, that because this Equinety Horse XL is so unique and there's nothing like it on the market, and if you're learning about this for the first time, the biggest difference with this product is the amino acids are specifically combined and formulated to stimulate the pituitary gland. So that's what its purpose is. So typically horses that have joint issues, then you look at joint supplements or possible injections, or if they have hoof issues, then you look at hoof supplements and creative shoeing, or if they have attitude issues, you look at calming supplements or muscle building supplements or gut supplements. So it's a supplement or medication for each individual problem or issue you're having. And the unique thing with this product, because we're giving the body what it needs to stimulate the pituitary gland to release its own hormones, and then it's the horse's body that's sending those hormones to the problem areas. And the body knows exactly where the problem areas are because it's its own body. So you could have 12 horses with 12 different things going on, and then essentially it's going to customize to each horse. So with your little test that you did, have you put that particular horse on the Equinety product since then?
Nope, he's about to go on it.
Okay, well, you'll have to keep us updated. He is
about to go on it.
Yeah. So, well, you'll have to keep us updated. And
I will.
On that one, yeah, for sure. Well, that is awesome. Well, Monica, I really appreciate you taking the time to share your story. If there's anybody tuning in this podcast for the first time, maybe they're on the fence. Should I try it? Should I not try it? Is there anything that you could suggest to them or say to them that might tell them to come on over the water's warm, so to speak?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's definitely worth it. I would not go with any other supplement, honestly. It's our only supplement. That's all I have to say. I mean, we haven't had any lameness issues. We haven't had any colic, any founder. I mean, we hear of all these horses around the area having all these issues, and, there's Miss Ellie Mae standing out in the pasture just fat and happy.
Now, you could just have a good bloodline of a horse there. I'll throw that out there. But I'm sure the Equinety is helping, though. So, and everything you just said, Equinety did not pay you to say that. So just for...
No.
Awesome.
No.
So, all right. Well, Monica K. out of Ohio. Monica K. out of Ohio. Thank you so much for sharing your story here on the Equinety Podcast.
All right. Thank you for having me. Have a great day.
That's all for this episode of the Equinety Podcast. For more information on purchasing Equinety, be sure to visit our website at teamequinety.com, where you'll also find product information as well as more testimonials on how others have seen amazing results by implementing Equinety into their horse's supplement regime. We'll have more stories on how Equinety is helping horses worldwide right here on a future episode of the Equinety Podcast.